I am Mai. I am currently 19 years old. This story of mine was a little weird for me, and it still haunts me even now. It all started when I was 17 years old. In my house, we have 2 bedrooms, one for me and one for my parents. In this house, I always have a feeling that someone is watching me, and it has always made me feel uneasy. Because of this feeling, I usually felt uncomfortable sleeping alone and didn't like the dark, so every night I left the lights on. The first scary experience happened one night as I was sleeping. But in the middle of the night, my eyes opened. I couldn't breathe, and even though my eyes were open, I couldn't move a single part of my body. It was terrifying because I knew that I was experiencing sleep paralysis, but still couldn't do anything about it. After looking around, I realized that there was a tall, shadowy, faceless man standing over me. I tried to move, but I couldn't. I tried to shout, but it was like the shouting was only in my mind. Nothing was working. So I tried to pray 3 times and close my eyes. After maybe 1.5 minutes, I could move my body and I was able to catch my breath. But it was like I had just gone on a run. My heart was pounding. I didn't tell my parents about it because I thought maybe I was just tired that day or it was a bad dream. On the second night, I was sleeping again and my position was facing the door. My eyes opened and I could barely breathe again. But what was different was that this time, I felt something tightly binding my arms. I looked over and there were 3 pairs of arms that were trying to pull me under the bed. But it wasn't my body they were pulling. It was like they were pulling my soul out of my body. I tried to shout and call for my parents, but it was just my mind shouting. I tried to pray again, and after a few seconds, I thought it was over. But this time, I still couldn't breathe, and my body still couldn't move. I prayed and prayed and prayed until I felt my breath come back to normal. I was covered in sweat, and after that, I decided to stay awake for the rest of the night. I was too scared to sleep because I was worried it might happen again. I tried to distract myself by watching funny videos on YouTube while drinking coffee and eventually made it to 6 a.m. My mother usually wakes up around that time, so I left my room and joined her for breakfast. I wanted to tell her about it, but because of some chores I had to do and our conversation about other stuff, I forgot to mention it. On the 3rd night, I went to sleep around 3 o'clock in the morning. I was watching some zombie movies late into the night because I'm a big fan of them, but the moment I feared happened again. I woke up and was having sleep paralysis. As usual, I couldn't control my body or shout to call my parents. But this time, I decided I would look at the tall, shadowy, faceless man. I could feel him looking at me. I felt it. Once I looked at him, I noticed that he was just there, sitting on my chair, completely still. I was scared, so I closed my eyes and prayed. But when I opened my eyes, he had moved to the corner of the room, slightly closer to me. So, I shut my eyes and prayed again and again until I felt like I could breathe and move my body again. When morning came, I told my mother about everything this time. She told me there was an open square-shaped hole in my room that there was supposed to be for air conditioning. She told me that it may be lingering spirits who come to mess with me in my dreams and suggested that the hole was possibly the entrance that the entities came in through. It happened to be around Palm Sunday, so we had a palapas, which is a woven palm leaf thought to carry blessings, and she put it over the hole to cover it up. Thankfully, after that, the nightmares and sleep paralysis finally stopped.